Louie Tee, welcome. You are here in the lab room. Louie Tee live, breaking down every game in week 3 of the preseason in the National Football League. And so had a chance to take a look at the Dallas Cowboys off in the North Pacific West, taking on, or the Pacific Northwest, I don't know which one it is, taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Unseasonably warm day out there, 90 degrees. Heard it was the hottest day of the summer out there. And so a great day for football. And this was a really fun game to watch. And the last time these two teams locked horns, close game in Dallas, the year before that, Dallas went into Seattle and won. Again, those are regular season games. This is a preseason game. Before we get into the breakdown, number of different ways to contact the show if you're out there, happen to be watching at this random time. On Twitter, at In The Lab Room is a Twitter handle. Follow me on Twitter. The hashtag is Louie Tee Live on any platform, whether you're watching live on YouTube. Again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe to the channel, LouieTeeNetwork, for great content in 2016 and moving forward. Hashtag Louie Tee Live if you want to comment from there. Also, Facebook, In The Lab Room is the Facebook page. So again, if you're there and you want to comment, hashtag Louie Tee Live. With that said, I want to jump right into the breakdown of this preseason matchup and talk about the things that I liked, disliked, and the banana in the tailpipe. Like, dislike, banana in the tailpipe.
What y'all, the second team?
We're the first team.
Yeah, we're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
So this is a really simple concept. Things that I liked in the game, things that I disliked in the game, and then the banana in the tailpipe is simply something that I'm not falling for. The banana in the tailpipe, oldest trick in the book, man. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe just because maybe I saw something that I liked or saw something that I didn't like in this game, and that doesn't mean it's the end-all be-all. That doesn't mean that's what we're going to get for 16 regular season games upcoming in the 2016 season. So I'm not willing to overreact to what I saw is essentially what the banana in the tailpipe is. So let's get to the likes, and we're going to start with the road team, as I like to do often. Let's start with the Cowboys and the things that I liked in this game. Start with the offensive line. Look, it really goes without saying, but I hate when people don't give the just due and the credit that is deserved just because someone is really good at something. We did it for years with Peyton Manning. We do it all the time with guys that are really good. You see it with LeBron James all the time in the NBA. Just because a guy is really good, or in this case, 5 guys are really good together, I don't want to overlook what those guys provide for this Cowboys team. And that offensive line looked good because I knew this was going to be a test for them. You know, you go to Seattle, it's a raucous crowd, tough environment, aggressive defense. I wanted to see how they performed out there, and they were flawless. They gave space to Ezekiel Elliott, who I will talk about here in a second. He had a nice performance. Alfred Morris came in after him, ran the football effectively. Dak Prescott had time all day long to throw the football, and that allowed him to have another strong performance, and we'll talk about him as well. And so I thought the offensive line was just phenomenal, and it felt a lot like 2014, and a lot of Cowboys fans have been saying we're going to get back to 2014. I've been saying I think they're going to be dangerous because I think that we're going to see a semblance of 2014. And with a performance like that, I think it's pretty safe to say that that offensive line is ready and rearing to go, and they look damn good in this football game. Let's go to the next like Zeke Elliott. God damn it. I talked about this all last year. I talked about this last December when I was on the television program up in D.C. I talked about it all draft process. The Cowboys needed to upgrade the running back position, and what better way to do it than with Zeke Elliott, the best running back in the 2016 NFL draft, and they went in and they did that, and you saw why. Okay, the first time we got to really see him in the preseason, and he looked damn good. 7 carries, 48 yards, a couple of tough, hard-nosed runs, ran over Cam Chancellor on one run, and Cam got pissed off, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. And you just see the physicality that he runs with, some great cuts off of some blocks. He looks good, and I'll tell you the most impressive play, okay, is one that nobody will talk about, but on the play that Tony Romo gets hurt on, go look at the block that Zeke Elliott threw on a blitzing safety or a corner coming off the edge. He picks him up, cuts his legs from under him, and gives Tony Romo the avenue and lane to get up the field and pick up some yards before he ultimately got hurt. I mean, that's part of the package you get with Zeke Elliott. That was part of the reason why everyone was enamored with him is because you get the complete package. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can run the football. But the thing that we don't talk about, but what is the thing that usually gets running backs on the sidelines is pass pro and the lack of it early on in their careers, where he comes equipped with pass protection day one. Remember, Herb Meyer said, this is the most physical football player that I've ever coached without the football. That's saying something, and you saw it on that particular play. He's going to come in and provide you with pass pro on third downs, ready to go out of the package. You saw that on that first possession, and that's, to me, something that I really took away from this game, is that this guy can do it all. He's a 3-down back, and you can have him out there in passing situations where he has to protect, find a blitzing linebacker or safety or corner and pick him up, and he did it effectively on that play. Alfred Morris, I'll go ahead and throw him in there as well. Good to see him running a football, having some space, running with confidence, something he lacked last season in Washington. Running with confidence, had a nice catch on that 2-minute drive to lead to a field goal right before the half. That's something else he didn't do in Washington, was catch the football very effectively. Caught a nice pass behind him by Dak Prescott, and he was able to reach behind him and catch it. So Alfred Morris doing some things, looking more like the 2012, 2013 back that was a Pro Bowler than the guy that was a shell of himself last season. So good to see him running the football. Jason Witten, and I'll even go a step further and say Jeff Swaim. If you got a chance to watch Jason Witten on the touchdown grab, he showed why he's a Hall of Famer and will be when he's all done with the game of football, going over and reaching over the linebacker. And he can't play it much better than that if you're KJ Wright. You're right there in the hip pocket of Jason Witten. You're there, and he just reaches over you and takes the football away. That's Jason Witten in a nutshell. That's why he's going to be a Hall of Fame football player. He's in midseason form. Jeff Swaim, though, I was impressed with him. The Cowboys, it seems like, have been looking for another tight end to potentially come in. Not flashy, much like Jason Witten. Nothing really flashy there, but he caught just about everything that was thrown his way. Not every pass was pinpoint accurate, yet he was able to catch it and get up the field. So he could be another guy that you could see maybe getting some touches throughout the season and be a solid option for the Cowboys offensively. Really like what I saw out of Jeff Swaim in this football game. And of course, Dak Prescott. I mean, I'm going to talk about him in another category later on, but how can you not like what this guy's done all preseason long and in this game as well? Dak Prescott going 17 of 23 for 116 yards and a touchdown in this game. I thought he was phenomenal. He missed a couple of throws, missed a deep one to Terrence Williams, and T. Will had a couple of steps on the nearest defender, had to slow down. Ball was slightly underthrown, allowed the Seahawks defender to get back into the play. Kelsey McCray was able to get his hand on the football and knock it away, but I thought it was a really good performance by Dak Prescott. Got out of the pocket a little bit, showed the mobility, was accurate in the pocket, had a little bit of pressure, stayed in the pocket and delivered the football. The kid looks legit. We'll talk more about him a little bit later on. But again, how can you not like the poise and maturation of one Dak Prescott early on in this preseason? Let's go to the dislikes for the Cowboys. I only got one. Okay, I didn't see a lot. I was even somewhat impressed with the defense. I mean, granted, I thought Seattle shot themselves in the foot with penalties, and we'll talk about those things when we get to the Seahawks. But I thought Mo Clay looked good, even on the touchdown that he gave up to Paul Richardson. He was right there. You can't defense the perfect pass. You hear that all the time, and that was essentially what that was. And so I thought he was active. He was all over the place. Again, that game reminded me a lot of, that 2014 Cowboys defense, where they were flying around, they're under the radar, everybody expects them to be really bad, and then the offense comes out, sucks the life out of the opposing team, slows the pace down, keeps those guys off the field, and I felt that 2014 vibe. I don't want to go too far with that. Again, I'm not going to be one of those people that say, oh, it's just 2014 all over again, but it feels that way, that vibe is. But the dislike of the game is, of course, is the Tony Romo injury. Again, I hate to see anybody go down to injury. It's my one thing I hate about the preseason, other than the fact that it's just bad football, is that you don't want to see guys get injured. And that's what we got in this game. And it's his first preseason action. And he went down with injury. And that's what you don't want to see. And I said this literally less than a week ago when we broke down the NFC East. Matter of fact, 2 days ago, when we broke down the NFC East. I said if Tony Romo gets injured this year, it's going to be his back. I'm not worried about his collarbone anymore. He put a plate in there. He should be fine. It's the back that concerns me. And what do we get? First preseason game that he plays in, and the first action that he sees, we get a back injury. And so Cowboys already said, look, it's not serious. Of course, he's not playing in the 4th preseason game. He should be ready to go week 1 versus the Giants. But that being said, it's just a quick reminder of how easily he can be out of the lineup, and you could be relying on Dak Prescott this season. So I'm one of the ones that said I don't think he's going to get hurt this year, but that doesn't make me feel any more comfortable about him lasting 16 games this season, seeing him go down on the very first possession of the game. That is a serious dislike for me in this football game. Let's get to the banana in the tailpipe for the Dallas Cowboys. I got 2. The first one is Dak Prescott. Dakota Prescott. I don't want to go overboard, and I see a lot of Cowboys fans going overboard and really excited, and they should be. This is the best backup situation they've had, I'd like to say, in the entire Tony Romo era. They haven't had a competent backup, and let's get past the backup part. This is a guy that you feel like could be the future of this football team. So you can take it a step further and say, damn the backup situation. This is a guy that could potentially be the heir apparent to Tony Romo. We may actually have that guy now and have something to look forward to in the future. But that being said, he's still a rookie, and he's still going to make mistakes. And I just ask people to just temper your expectations, because after seeing Tony Romo in this game, I may have to start retracing my steps a little bit and backtracking, because we may see Dak Prescott in 2016 at some point, because I just don't know if Tony Romo is going to be able to hold up physically. I was one of those people that said, all right, everybody says he's going to get hurt, so that means he's not going to get hurt. He's going to stay healthy this year. But after seeing that, there's no way he's going to stay healthy for 16 games. We're going to see Dak Prescott at some point. And I just want people to taper those expectations. Looks good in the preseason, but you don't game plan for guys in the preseason. It'll be a lot different come regular season. We saw him miss some throws. That T-Will throw, that should have been a touchdown or a big gainer at worst. And he underthrew that one. There were some other missed throws. One time he took a sack in the pocket. Look, I'm not looking for this guy to be perfect. But again, there are going to be some growing pains. There was a missed exchange with him and Alfred Morris where he just ended up keeping the football. Don't know who went the wrong way, whether it was Alfred Morris or if it was Dak Prescott. But those are the growing pains of a rookie quarterback. I'm just saying, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe or thinking that this guy's just going to light it up when he does see the field. But damn, he looks good. I must say, he looks damn impressive this preseason. Let's go to the Seattle Seahawks in this football game, start with their lights. And I look at the Seahawks, and you got to start with the defense. I talked about the Cowboys' offensive line and how I don't want to understate them, and I don't want to just gloss over the fact that their offensive line is really good. Same thing with the Seattle Seahawks defense. They're flying around, getting to the football. I'd like to see them be a little bit more aggressive, but it's the preseason, okay? I thought that they did some solid things. Kelsey McCray made a really good play when he came in for Cam Chancellor on the T-Will deep ball. He was beaten. And if that ball is thrown out another yard or so, that's probably either 6 or it's a big gain inside the 20-yard line. Either way, nice recovery by Kelsey McCray to get in there and make a play. I saw some penetration from some guys. Quentin Jefferson, he intrigues me. He was on this list of the lights, a guy that I'm intrigued by. A 5th-round pick out of Maryland. Want to see how he develops along that defensive line. Thought he did some good things, and I saw a play where he got in the backfield and penetrated and stopped Alfred Morris for about a 3-yard loss in the backfield. So I like this defense. Of course, I do. And good to see them going and flying around out there and not giving up a bunch of big plays. They did give up some chunk plays, gave up some yards in the run game, but you're not going to see an offensive line like this every week. You just played the best offensive line in the league, bar none, and I thought they held their own in this football game. Paul Richardson, it's good to see Paul Richardson out there flying around, catching some footballs, making some plays. That touchdown grab was phenomenal. He had Mo Clay just draped all over him, and yet he still got to the football. Perfect pass. Great execution by Paul Richardson. Saw him catch another pass out there for about a good 8, 9, 12 yards or so. So good to see him getting into the flow of the offense. I want to see him healthy because he has legit game-breaking speed. And if you can get another guy out there with, the guys that they already have in the Angry Bird, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, and of course, Tyler Lockett. If you can add another weapon out there in Paul Richardson, and then you get something out of Jimmy Graham, all of a sudden this offense looks really explosive. And with Russell Wilson pulling the strings, I think you can really start to see some things blossom from this offense if you can get a guy like Paul Richardson involved more often. And I like what I saw from him in this game. And then Russell Wilson is my final like. I can't overstate this at all. You just can't, how good he is. That offensive line, I'm going to talk about them a little bit later on. He's still going to be at risk behind that offensive line in 2016. But the fact that he's so aware of his surroundings, he's so savvy with the football, whether he's inside or outside the pocket, his ability to make things happen and extend plays off schedule is just phenomenal. And you saw it in this game, had a rollout to his left and threw it to Tyler Lockett to set up some points down the field. Had another rollout, this time in the second half, when the Cowboys essentially taking out all of their starters for the most part. And the Seahawks start to have some success. Christine Michael started to have some success. They started being able to run the football, had a little bit of continuity on those first two drives, got a field goal, then got a touchdown. That second touchdown by Russell Wilson, the 9-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Lockett, he rolls out, extends the play for about 6 or 7 seconds, runs around that schoolyard, backyard type football, finds him in the end zone. That's what Russell Wilson can do. He can break your heart. And I thought the touchdown pass to Paul Richardson was just out of this world. To roll to your right, stop, plant, and let it go, and literally not have your feet set, but throw the perfect pass all the way back across the field. What more can I say? What more can I say? That's Russell Wilson. That's why he's dangerous. Russell Wilson. And that's why that man is a Super Bowl champion. Let's go to the dislikes. And I only got one, but it was two things that really frustrated me in this game for the Seahawks, and that's penalties and mistakes. A lot of miscues in this game with the Seahawks. I thought they had a lot of penalties in this game. You had the Affetti penalty that killed the first drive of the game. You had a Bradley Soul penalty that hurt you, that killed another drive. You had the fumble exchange on one of the earlier possessions where Russell Wilson and Justin Britt had kind of a funky exchange, and then he tried to hand the football off and ended up hitting the turf and having to dive on it. Cam Chancellor picked up a senseless personal foul penalty. Now, in his defense, the ball was tipped. It should not have been a penalty, but he shouldn't have hit the running back. He hit Ezekiel Elliott. He hit Zeke because he was pissed off because Zeke ran him over the play before, and he didn't like that. He took umbrage to that. He said, okay, this young fella thinks he's going to come in here. And I saw Cam smiling after, like grimacing, like kind of grinning, like, okay, this young punk think he's going to come in here, make a name for himself and run me over. Okay, I got something for his little ass. And the next play, Dak tries to dump it down. It gets deflected, and Cam just waylays him for no reason, just other than he was pissed and he wanted to send a message to the young fella that's not going down today. You're not going to be punking me. That's not what you're going to do to me in my house. You a rookie, stay in your place. And so that's all that was a warning shot. Shots fired, bang, bang. And he picked up a personal foul penalty. It was a bad call because, again, the ball was deflected. But in any event, had it not been deflected, it would have been a good call because he didn't have to do it. He did it out of spite because he was not happy at what had been done to him the play before. And then Earl Thomas gets a illegal contact penalty. And that 15-yard penalty by Cam Chancellor ultimately helped aid the Cowboys in their lone touchdown drive of the first half. And then you had the Earl Thomas illegal contact penalty on a third down late in the first half that aided the Cowboys in getting a field goal before halftime to make the score 10-10 going into the halftime break. So thought there were a lot of miscues and penalties, and those are the things you got to clean up because I thought they had some offensive rhythm and some flow going, and those penalties killed those drives in the game. So you got to clean those things up if you are the Seattle Seahawks. And let's get to the banana in the tailpipe for the Seahawks in this game. It's the offensive line. I'm not sold that this offensive line is any better than it was last year. I'm not sold on the fact that they're going to be able to protect Russell Wilson adequately throughout the season. I think he's going to have to do a lot of that magic that he does running around and creating plays off schedule because I don't think he's going to have a lot of time in the pocket. Anytime Jamarcus Webb is one of your tackles, you are in trouble. Bradley Soul looks like he's a liability at left tackle. I saw a lot of chipping, a lot of guys having to stay in and help, which takes guys out of the route. I'm not sold on this offensive line. Now, it looks like they might be able to run block somewhat, but I'm not even impressed there. This is a big offensive line. I do like Justin Britt at center. I do think that's going to be a nice upgrade there. I do like some of the things that they do have going on. Jermaine Ifedi looks like he's going to be just fine at right guard, but I'm not sold with this offensive line. I think it's a patchwork line yet again. They're going to have to make some huge upgrades to their offensive line in the upcoming seasons if they want to be able to have this offense be as effective as it can possibly be. Offensively, I think they have all the weapons they need to be effective, but that offensive line is still a huge question mark for me, and I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe of this offensive line being an upgraded unit right now. I just don't see it, and so we'll see what they get out of Jamarcus Webb. We'll see what they get out of Bradley Sowell, but I tell you right now, I am not sold on that offensive line. That's my banana in the tailpipe for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I'll check Twitter as I customarily do at the end of the episode. But again, we're talking about 5 o'clock in the morning here. No one should be on Twitter tweeting me right now about this football game as I am here live. And of course, as you would expect at this hour of the morning, there is no one here. But, I got some heat on. So I stand corrected. I got somebody here talking about the game on the actual live chat. It's Andrew Kim. He says, who's the starting running back for the Seahawks week 1? I think right now they're going to be comfortable with Christine Michael just because he was the guy toting the rock in the preseason. But make no mistake about it, Thomas Rawls is going to see his touches as well. They're going to get him reacclimated, and the faster he gets back into the swing of things and the more comfortable they become with him, he's a playmaker. They saw that last year. They know what Thomas Rawls can bring to the table. And so if he's able to get in there and show why he was a guy that was up and coming before his injury last year, I think they're going to give him the rock more and more as he starts to get into the swing of things. But early on in the season, I believe Christine Michael is going to be the guy that totes the rock because he's been in there all preseason long. So I think if I had to guess, I'd go with Christine Michael early on, and then I would think that the reins would be then turned over to a healthy Thomas Rawls as the season progresses on. So that's going to do it for me here. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Remember, I'm breaking down all week 3 of the preseason, every single game. So come back. I'll be here randomly just breaking down games as I watch them. And also remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I will see you next time as I continue to break down every single game in week 3 of the preseason. See you then.